Hey everybody! So I hope you're all doing well today. I haven't recorded a video in a minute, and I do have a fun little keyboard. I apologize if you hear my cooling mat right now or any of that fun stuff, but while I still have the time right now, I want to go over what we'll be seeing in Daybreak's latest update. Whenever that comes out, it looks like it's gonna come before December, or maybe like just before 2025 in general. And I wanted to wait a little bit to make sure that most of the stuff got condensed in, but I will be condensing down everything that we're getting in the upcoming update in terms of mechanics. So one, probably not the most prevalent one, is fear. Fear is essentially just like it says, an anti-locker camping mechanic that's coming into Daybreak. And so how it works is that it's stack based. Once you hit 30 fear stacks, which you get one stack a second, so after 30 seconds you'll have 30 fear stacks. Your location will be revealed to everybody for 5 seconds, but the stacks go down after you leave the locker. Now, this is hearsay, so don't quote me on this, but I have heard that in the actual PTS, the stacks just reset and it re-gauges up again, which doesn't really do much for fear. I don't think fear will really necessarily hurt that many. Okay, let me re-say it this way, and I apologize if I sound congested. Fear, the only thing fear would really impact is Adriana's, or like locker campers. If you're not a new gen or an Adriana player that's just sitting in a locker instead of doing gens because her mechanic requires her to stand still for it to activate, you'll be fine. I don't think fear will really impact gameplay that much. It's good that they have that, but it shouldn't really do too much harm. Now, the meat, I'm going to be talking more on the killer side because I'm better with more of the killer stats and analytics. But we're going to go to some of the first tweaks they mentioned in here. So, I apologize if I butcher it. Sang, I apologize if I butcher it again. Her repair is going up by one stat, so she's going from 5 repair to 6 repair, which is actually pretty okay, considering that she's a high composure, and she hears heartbeat a lot earlier than other survivors. I think that repair boost is really good. It makes her a little easier. Arlo's shield duration goes from 8 seconds to 10 seconds. This could be game changing. Simply for the fact that means, because you also have to realize too, the speed boost goes up. So the speed duration lasts 10 seconds, and the speed boost is raised by 0.5 of a point, from 4.5 to 5. So it rewards riskier healing, which, I mean, I guess, sure. It's more rewarding. I'll say that. If you're trying to pull off a more risky heal, it's definitely more rewarding. However, I can see some Euronica gameplay with this, but I digress. It's still a pretty okay buff, even though I feel like his shield was fine as is beforehand, but again, pretty okay balance. Surgeon. This is good, okay? Listen to me. As a IDV killer main, listen to me right now. And I'm staring at this Unforgotten rework while I'm saying this. His mangled bleed out goes from 20% to 35%. So that means they're gonna bleed out extremely fast. Like if 20% is fast to you, then that mangled bleed out increase by 15% is insane. And the initial bleed out got nerfed. The initial bleed out actually got buffed as well. It got put from 80% to 75%. So imagine when you're instantly down being put to 75. This is more urgent than Unforgotten's, right? You're put to 75, and let's say if somebody takes longer than maybe like barely under a minute, so give or take 60 seconds, that person could be dead, or at like 30 by the time it's been 60 seconds. So I really do like that they allow Surgeon to put more pressure on rescuing with his bleed out buffs. This is really good. Now, another thing too, capable Empress while you can, because her initial slow is getting increased, and she's slowed when she misses a strike. Now her attack recovery after missing is already pretty but considering how her kit is, it's a pretty fair balance in my opinion. This slow could make it miserable for you to actually get a good hit because it punishes you more. So while she's still the way she is now and you want a capable Empress, drop everything you're doing and capable her now. This is the time to do it because this slow is gonna make your gameplay miserable if you're not confident in timing based killers like Empress. And we have a fix. Fixed an issue for Showstopper and Surgeon that was causing their bleed out rate to not decrease as fast as it should have been. So the bleed out for Surgeon and Showstopper now apparently wasn't as visibly noticeable. So add the 75% initial bleed out for Surgeon with the 35% mangled bleed out, so which means they bleed out 35% faster, onto the fact that it's easier to see it visibly. Yeah, no, they're gonna be dead in like 60 to 70 seconds tops, which is not a lot of time at all. So again, urgency. And I'm kind of mad that I arised Unforgotten before this, but you gotta do stuff the hard way. I'll say this. You gotta do stuff the hard way. So Unforgotten and Banshee are both getting quote-unquote soft reworks. So for Unforgotten, their active ability, the pulse range is still at 100 studs, but the slow is increased to minus 3.5 instead of 2, which is amazing, because now it's easier to visibly see, like it was in Daybreak 1, that I've been complaining about since, I don't know, like a little bit after early access Daybreak 2. And the slow duration did get nerfed, which I don't know how I feel about that. I haven't really tested it in the PTS because apparently I haven't bought Unforgotten in the PTS version of the game. So I think the balance out is pretty okay. But until I see it and verify it myself, I can't really say whether this is good or bad. However, I do like that they added even more urgency by increasing the bleed out rate. So, because when a survivor is forgotten and their aura is hidden, they bleed out 25% faster, and it has a unique sound effect, which I have no idea what that is yet because I don't have Unforgotten bought in the PTS. Excuse me, and I kind of don't want to play the PTS at the moment because I'm waiting for it to come into the main game. Excuse me. But yeah, again, really good. This is also really good too. This buff can be game changing. So for context, the passive for their locker teleportation is going from 65 seconds to 60 seconds. Now for context, this cooldown is basically the same as it was in Daybreak 1 again. Because the imaginary friends, their teleport cooldown was 60 seconds. So now we reverted back to the 60 seconds, which is really good because if Unforgottens couldn't pressure before, they can definitely pressure now. And this is speaking to all Unforgotten mains, including me out there. Eat this up. This is like it's basically telling you to arise them. Arise them. Like, what are you waiting for? If you can arise Ghost, you can arise Unforgotten. Trust. And the slow one leaving a locker is decreased by 0.5, which is pretty good. I like it. The Unforgotten was a relatively weaker pick, and these changes aim to throw them back into the list of viable killers. I'm assuming by viable they mean like higher in the ranks. So this basically pushes Unforgotten from, I want to say, low B to high B. If not, no, that bleed out, I'd arguably say that they'd be in low A. They'd be from B to low A, just because of that bleed out and that and the buffs. Putting too much emphasis on their downs, making it more important for survivors to find that survivor before it's too late, while also allowing them to traverse the map easier and have a stronger active. This, I've been asking for this for a long time. Good on the devs for this because I'm very happy to see that Unforgotten being put back in like the meta list. And this is probably, aside from like one other thing and the other stuff rework, this is probably the biggest thing. Banshee's always been more of a C tier killer, probably. This is pushing her from if not middle A to low S, and I'll tell you why for those who aren't in the Discord server. Her lunge speed is being increased by, what is that? 15? No, it's being increased by 1.5 to 175, which means she lunges faster, which is scary. And the biggest thing out of this entire thing is probably the new passive, which I'll get to in a second. The active speed gain for survivor in range of scream goes from 0.3 to 0.375 times the amount of survivors in range. So that means that now she's even faster if multiple survivors are within her radius. Gen removal is also raised from 0.125 to 0.135 times the amount of survivors working on Gen. So if she screams and multiple people are on a Gen, that means they decrease even more than they already are now. And the range for the speed boost is increased by 8 studs, which may seem like not that much, but it actually does a lot. And her new passive is probably what's going to throw so many people off. And this is why I'm waiting to make an in-depth guide on her when her buff comes out, because this is going to change the meta list for a good moment. New for Wailing Wisps. Getting it down during the mist will cause Banshee to shriek again. However, these shrieks are only 25% as effective as a normal shriek. So 1/4 of that gen removal, aka the 0.135 times the amount of survivors working on gen. And if I were to run that through a calculator currently, so let's say 0.135 multiplied by 3. So if we were to have 3 people on a gen, multiplied by the 1, I'm gonna get a little nerdy, multiplied by the 0.135 value, that means 0.5% of generated progress would be removed, so 0.405, which is a lot. That's like 40% of the generator, pretty much, kind of, sort of. Now, take the 0.405 value and multiply that. If she gets it down while the people are still on that gen, multiply that by 0.25. It removes another 10% progress. Kind of, sort of, around that point. Which is huge. That's huge. Like, you don't, like, for survivors, people need to understand that 25%, although it's only a quarter of that larger amount, that 35%, that's huge. That is, I don't want to yap for too long, but that is huge. And she also has a visual rework. But I love this. That basically puts her into high A to S. And I'm not one to follow the meta or tier list. I stay far from the meta, actually, if my mains don't show it enough. But, like, no, that's huge. And I love that. I love that they buffed those too. And I think this is something a lot of people may have forgotten. But they are adding a shift to, ooh, I'm so sorry. They're adding toggles now for sprint and crouch. Which is super good. This is amazing for PC and console. I feel like it would benefit console more, though, because I know for some killers or survivors, they have to, like, claw on their controller in order to, like, crouch or whatever, especially with Jack. I know console players have to claw in order to play Jack, and that can get really annoying. So I think that the toggles are very beneficial, and I love that they added that. They're also adding visual changes to the end screen that'll tell you exactly how much progress you've done to gens, exactly how long you've been looping, and exactly how many heals you have. And I like that. The visual changes are really good. And it also displays the badges too. Very, very, very nice. I'm very excited for that. Very, very beautiful. And they also said they fixed Stalker's chase volume. I hope they did. I'm going to take their word for it this time, because I've heard that Stalker's music wasn't added to the hotfix. into the main servers, but that's the main servers, not the PTS. So I digress. But yeah, good on them so far. UI tweaks with the selection menu. It tells you how many you have owned now, which is honestly pretty good. I like that. Also, damn, that's a lot of sunshine. System changes. This is also huge. Finally, they mentioned lag allowance. Excuse me. All killers have had their quote-unquote lag allowance, how far they can be from a survivor for the hit to count, drastically decreased. This means killers who have high latency should notice their attacks failing more often and survivors getting the benefit of the doubt. Now, if you're very sweaty, if you're a sweaty killer, kind of like I am, this could really hurt you. So the hitbox theory videos I've made, those have high lag allowance. I'd probably have to update it once this update comes out, because if their lag allowance has been drastically decreased, so like that Unforgotten hitbox could literally be half as much as I've showcased it to be by the time this update comes out. So now you have to really, really pay attention to how far away you can be for your hit to register, because I can guarantee you right now, they're all probably going to be half as big as the latency currently allows them to be. Now, lever gen progression. Gen progress has a lever, I'm going to say lever, has been increased by 5%. And if the lever leaves within the first minute of the game, the progress is doubled. Now, I have no idea what that means, so I'm going to reread it again for it to make sense in my mind. Gen progress from a lever has been increased by 5%. And if the lever leaves within the first minute of the game, the gen progress is doubled. So, when they mean lever, I'm assuming they mean somebody who disconnects, right? And so usually when a person disconnects, 5 to 10-ish% of a generated progress is added. So now, if somebody disconnects within the first minute of the game, so by the time it hits, I believe, 14:00 or 13:59, or 13, I don't know. If they leave within the first minute of the game, rather than it being 5 to 10-ish%, it could be 10-ish to like 15%. Which is good, kind of. Even though gen rushing is in this weird, it's good, bad state right now. Me personally, I think the gen rushing currently is fine. Except for the new map that's coming. They need to nerf the gen speed on the new map, because there's no reason that map should be as big as like old Clearwater almost and still have like wastewater gen speed. No. But overall, everything looks good so far. We got voice lines coming in, lobby preview fixes for Android apostate boss, my boy, and Empress. And for those cosmetic geeks, you'll be able to have character loadouts now, and you'll have 3 saves. So this is really good. And it'll keep track of both your outfit and the perk swap that you have on. So whether you have the character's normal perk or if you perk swapped it, it keeps track of that. This is really good. I like this. But again, it won't be in the whatchamacallit. It won't be in your loadout where you can perk swap during character select. It's not going to be in there. It's just going to be on menu. So just keep that in mind. Star Caller event. Everybody's heard that now. I'm pretty sure Zinni's covered it too. So I'm not going to go over the Star Caller event. I'm just going over the tweaks and everything. Missed archives. I'm not going to go into detail about that either, because I'm pretty sure there's been other CCs that have went over that already. And that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to do stuff for balances. Okay. Relief update. All rewards will be sent next update upon logging in. Yay! Rewards! This is another important thing too. That follows up with lag allowance and the reason why so many people are getting tweaks. Responsive abilities. I've had an issue with this for Unforgotten for a while too. Next update, a few killers have had their code tweaked to make their abilities feel more responsive, i.e. being able to properly attack after throwing a Warden orb or placing an apostate bubble. Killers changed. Warden, apostate, Stalker, polluted, Unforgotten, Surgeon, Unforgotten again, Surgeon again, Banshee again, Werewolf. So basically, a lot of these updates are pushed more towards killers to make their abilities and their kits more responsive, while also staying more fair to people's ping. And people who are at 4,000 ping don't hit you from halfway across the map. This is really good. This is extremely good. So I guarantee you right now, when that update comes, albeit maybe like before 2025, the whole game is gonna feel changed, and I assume a little smoother too, more smoother. So just get ready to be able to retrain your muscle memory when all of those come out. Unique select animations, fixed Lakeview High window interaction, new map, relief rewards for the Palestine donations, new setting, safe music mode. This is for CCs. To me and all you other Daybreak CCs out there, this is to you. New setting, safe music mode, replaces all killer chase tracks with the default one. Mainly meant for content creators to help avoid copyright strikes. You're on your own for menu music though, which I love you, Brenda, but I don't know what this means. Now, I assume by menu music they mean like the screen you're on when you first log on to Daybreak. I don't believe that's copyrighted, so I think we're fine. But if she means the interaction, the like the character select music, I personally got warned by YouTube for the intermission music. So if that's what she means in menu music as well, I'm not too sure about that. But again, very great that they're looking out for CCs for this setting. I'm really happy that they added this because this is another thing I've been talking about a long time. I put that in feedback suggestions like twice, so I'm glad she put something up about it. Empire hotfixes that was released. More hotfixes when a hotfix was requested for the PTS. Bug fixes in PTS. More things for PTS. Now, these are changes for the upcoming characters. Millicent Hurley, and then OG character Dakari. Perks now trigger an anti-camping shield. So when Dakari reses somebody with heal gun, they'll get an anti-camping shield, like basically like miss protection. Millicent, same thing. That's pretty good. It prevents farming, so I'm glad they added that. Dhanya's repair has been boosted from 7 to 8, and her undetectability time has been raised by 25 seconds, which is really good. It strengthens her already kind of mediocre-ish perk. I don't want to say mediocre, because I know that connotation can be very negative, depending on the way it's used, but her perk is really iffy at best, because once she's found, she's getting tunneled out early game. I guarantee you. Like, no matter who you ask, I guarantee you Donnie's going to be tunneled out early game. So I like that they added that undetectability, and that her marked gens now move around instead of being static at 2 or 3 of them. That's very good. I think that makes her movement... Not her movement. It makes her a better Makoto, if that makes sense. And general changes, some other fixes, PTS updates, and that's pretty much it. Now, I'm not too sure if there's anything when it comes to devlog. It's just more stuff with the maps. And again, it's a devlog. Developers are logging their progress. So I hope that this was helpful for you. If I skipped over some words or something and you have any questions, because I do tend to stutter a lot, feel free to ask me. I'll look over it with you. And if you want to talk to me directly, you can join my Discord server. I do have some channels on Daybreak, and I may add a few more in there. We have ones for cursed screenshots and outfits and stuff. So just, if you want to be part of the Ice Cubes or whatever, get to know me a little bit one-on-one, join my server. And I have some stuff I need to get to. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Stay creative. Peace.
This is a certified classic.